Matt, do you have Squishmallows over there?
Yeah, we do. We also have
Uh,
like pillow pets. Do you have pillow pets in Canada?
no, I don't know what that is.
You don't know what pillow pets are?
No, no, I don't. I
Okay,
don't.
so
All I know is Squishmallows.
okay, well, tell me what you were going to tell me about squishmallows, and then I'll enlighten you about pillow pets and the magic therein.
Okay, so at my local Costco,
Uh huh.
they have this absolutely massive bin of these things, and they're huge. Like they're the size of like my torso at least, if not bigger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and every time we're at Costco, I can see like kids running up to these things, and not even like sometimes it's not even kids. Like sometimes it's like teenagers, like 14-year-olds, come like
Yeah.
running up to this like giant crate full of these like absolutely massive
They're
squishy
like big plush animals, right?
animal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about these plushes in particular that like, make kids pop off, but man, kids seem to love these things. And then now after I've noticed that, I've kind of noticed them everywhere else, and I feel old because I feel like this is some sort of phenomenon that I'm catching, like just maybe the tail end of or something. I don't know.
This phenomenon's not new. I think this is just the new generation of it because like 10 or 15 years ago or something, here in America at least, because you said you didn't have them, we had pillow pets, which were essentially a square or rectangular pillow, but it was designed to look like an animal, and they always had like a little bulbous head on the top, and you could like fold the pillow in half and like Velcro it shut so that the four corners of the pillow looked like little legs. And
Is this like a precursor to like a waifu pillow?
no, I think waifu
Oh
pillows have
my
been around
god.
for longer than
Matt,
that.
I'm seeing. I just googled pillow pet, and like the fourth
Yeah.
picture is like this creepy Dora one, and she's like on all fours, and
Yeah.
her head's just like sticking out.
Yeah. I was
There's
I was
like
gonna say.
licensed pillow pets.
So they got very popular. They had a pretty rad ad campaign where they had this commercial that went, "It's a pillow. It's a pet. It's a pillow pet."
No shit.
And yeah, and I was going to say that they had some properties in pillow pets that definitely didn't fit the bill and made them really fucking goofy.
I
And
can't get
I
over
guess you
this
found
Dora
one.
one.
Yeah.
She is, and there's like Mickey too, and they're all just like laying on all fours, like
Yeah.
Shrek. Oh my
Send
god.
me that picture. I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah. Matt. Okay, so it seems that you can get there are licensed characters in the Pillow Pet line.
Yeah.
Do you think I could get a Pillow Pet that is of fashion icon John Arbuckle?
Uh, I don't see why not, as long as you don't order it on a Monday.
I'm looking it up. John Arbuckle Pillow Pet.
I'll bet you anything there's a Garfield pillow pet. I'll bet
I
you
don't know if I
any
want
amount
to
of
see
money.
that. Now I'm just seeing some very strange looking Garfield slash John pillows.
Yeah.
Okay, John, Garfield pillow pet.
Boy, oh boy.
there.
It just isn't a
Oh,
good
there
Monday
are
unless I wake up on my Garfield pillow pet.
there are some results here.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, I'll send you the screenshot too. Oh my dear lord. All right.
Please describe it for those of us who don't listen on YouTube.
I'm seeing some stuffed plush Garfield thing that is like too realistic. Like it is very clearly imitating Garfield, but it looks like a real cat almost.
Oh no.
I'm also seeing. Oh, it looks so scary. I'm also seeing this giant. Okay, there's like very attractive woman holding a large Garfield plush in a what looks like an Asian like cafe,
Okay.
and the Garfield has a tail that's like dangling between his legs. I'm assuming it's a tail, but it does not look like a tail.
It's little Garfield.
He's got a giant Cheeto between his legs. It's essentially
Yeah.
what's going on there. But don't we all?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
welcome to another episode of Super FX. It's a Garfield and John Arbuckle fan podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm Matt.
And this is episode number 26.
So what's your favorite part about John Arbuckle?
Oh, definitely the derriere.
Oh my god, he's got some Arbuckles, if you know what I'm talking about. I want to plow his Garfield, if you know what I'm saying.
The best part about his buckles is they're not mine, and they're not yours, but they are our buckles.
Guys, I'd like to take a moment to deviate from this conversation to mention that when this episode comes out, it'll be May 4th, 2022, and we started Super FX Podcast on May 4th, 2021, which means we've been together with you and each other for 1 year as a podcast. Edit in some air horns, me.
Matthew.
Yeah, tithe you.
Wow. Happy birthday. Blowing up the candles.
Thank you. Make a wish. Don't tell me what it is or it won't come true.
I wish for... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I won't.
I wish for Tyler not to have a good life. Oh, no. Now it won't come true.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I see what's going on here. We're a 1-year-old baby. Is our 1 years old people still babies?
They definitely still are babies. And just in case those of you out there think that I am a tiny little boy, I'm actually an old man who just happens to be 1 year old in the podcast. Don't worry about it.
Right. So we have like our podcast alter egos.
So podcast Matt is a baby, but real life Matt is a whiny, bitchy, clumsy, gross oaf.
Right. So not that all that different.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Except I don't wear a bib, except when I'm recording the podcast. You know, it's for that Mountain Dew spillage.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. Mm-hmm. A question: What age does a baby stop being a baby?
I don't know. Maybe like 2.5, when they start to toddle.
Because they're a toddler now. Why do we call it a toddler? And like, why isn't a baby called like a crawler?
A crawler. That's another good point. Realistically, look, once your child is the kind of child who is like, guess what, 2 legs, motherfucker, that's when I think that it's no longer a baby, especially not an infant per se. Maybe baby is more of an umbrella term.
Right.
Yeah.
Baby umbrella.
Yeah, and then eventually they turn 11 and they start to get real fucking scary, and then you return them, you know.
I'm not sure I do, but that's okay. I think we should get on with our show.
Wait, your mom never tried to return you? Hang on, I gotta call my mom. She told me that was something everybody did. All right, anyway.
We had an interesting past 2 weeks in video games. What?
In the gamosphere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing really for news happened. You know what, Matthew? You know what I'm going to do? This is completely unplanned. Matthew, I'm just going to get the news.
We're going to start with
now.
News? Okay, sure. Why not?
Let's do the gamer news with a Z.
Or legally doesn't count.
Yeah. Attention.
Starting off the year fresh.
Attention all Fortnite gamers. This is the news of the week. There was none. Nothing really happened.
Hang on, are you referencing that video, that one dude who's like, attention, all Earthbound gamers?
Yeah, he has a Fortnite one too.
He's got like 1 billion of them. I don't know his name, but I'm linking like a couple of my favorites in the description now.
Okay, brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
There was no real news this past couple weeks. The one thing we scoured the internet. We went on a journey, searching high, far, and wide and low, trying to find
those
some
2.5 minutes on Google didn't do shit for us. So
nothing, absolutely nothing. Square Enix is selling Square Enix. I've never.
Wow,
I have no idea.
I listened to you struggle when you said Enix right there. You never say that. I was surprised.
Dude,
You always say Enix.
everybody and their dog says that thing differently. Some people say Enix,
Yeah.
some people say Enix, some people say bark, bark, bark.
I literally heard the pain in your voice when you said Enix.
They sold off some of their IP. They sold off Tomb Raider. They sold out off Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Some other assets. It's kind of unclear. The press release, as you know, how much I love those. They didn't specify. It was like, here it is, including Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and more than 50 back catalog games.
Wow.
More than 50. So we don't really know the details of what else is in this transaction. But
Do
that
we know
happened.
to whom?
To the Embracer Group. The Embracer Group is a Swedish parent company. They used to own, I think they used to be THQ Nordic. And so they have they've turned in kind of this conglomerate of just of a holding company to have a bunch of old THQ games and stuff. So they have Saints Row, they have Metro and Darksiders, and some stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of things that they have, and so now they have more. And so these games will still exist,
In some capacity.
in some capacity. But yeah, it seems that Square Enix wants to do something a little different. Maybe they're just going to focus on Final Fantasy now, and that'd be nice. But who knows?
Yeah. Can we get Balan Wonderworld 2, whatever the fuck it was called? That came to YouTube.
I for a long time thought that thing was called Balan Wonderland or Balan Wonderworld.
I don't actually know how it's pronounced. I haven't looked it up. It definitely looks like it's two Balans.
I want to play it.
Remove the bun, the patty, and the
I still want to
condiments.
play it.
I have it. I got it on clearance at Target because nobody was buying
congrats.
it.
Ooh,
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, it was like a year ago at this point or something.
I want to hear about what video game you've been playing over the past handful of weeks here. 2 weeks, in fact. I don't know if that's a handful, but it's two. A couple of weeks.
It's if you put one in each hand, it's definitely two handfuls.
Does 1 week fill your hand?
That's 7 whole fucking days. My hand is only so big.
This is true.
Are these my real hands?
Tell me about your games.
So, last episode I mentioned that I had begun playing Omori at the suggestion of Max, and I was not that far into it. I was only about, I think, 10 or 12 hours at that point, if I remember correctly.
But now you've played some Mori?
Well, yeah, so now I've definitely gotten Omori into it, and I've beaten it. It's done. I have finished playing it. And, Tyler, that game fucked me right up.
Oh, wait, emotionally?
Oh, yeah. Yes, emotionally, and...
it's a serious episode.
There was there was so much about it that I wasn't expecting. For those of you interested in playing Omori, not only am I just not even going to mention spoilers, I will urge you straight up, probably just don't even listen to most of what I'm going to say if you're interested in playing Omori, because I do have to talk about some minor key elements to the game that are important to the story. They won't ruin your experience, but I think if you go in totally blind, it's definitely fresher. So, you've been warned. But I'm not going to give spoilers. Because, Tyler, I want you to play it.
Okay.
But
this is interesting because my game, I feel the same way about it. So, attention listeners, if you're listening to this podcast and you thought that even maybe you might play the games.
Yeah, just fucking skip this whole episode. Click right off.
Because I want you to play the game that I'm going to talk about. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me start out by saying that Omori was a Kickstarted game. The Kickstarter started in, I think, 2014, and the game finally came out in 2020. With projects like that sort of shit always happens. It just takes a while. It was primarily headed by Omocat, was the lead developer, and it was a game made on RPG Maker, like a lot of kind of like indie RPG games, like Undertale was also made in RPG Maker. So it is a Mother-like, it's an Earthbound-like, and it is incredibly well done. And I know that that's a broad statement, but there's so much I could say about this game, and I feel like I'll be here forever if I do, but I just want to talk about the finer aspects of it. So Omori is a traditional Japanese role-playing game in the style of Earthbound. And it is about this, again, minor key elements of the story. It is about this boy who suffers from hikikomori, which is a social disorder that was first defined in Japan, which is why it has a Japanese name, which essentially translates in English to intense reclusiveness. He spends time in his home thinking about his friends and the situations of his childhood in his own mind, and that's the majority of the gameplay, is you play out this dream world in his head, which is called Headspace. And the main plot is that one day in the dream world, their friend Basil, who loves plants and so is named such, goes missing, and they have to find him. And that is about all the plot that I can say without spoiling anything else about this fantastic masterpiece of a game. I am really happy that Max showed this to me. I have not felt more engaged by a traditional JRPG than this one in a very long time. Maybe not since the first time that I played through Earthbound. I love JRPGs, but this one has been so incredibly engaging. It has an emotions system, which I think I talked about last time, where a lot of Japanese role-playing games will have this rock, paper, scissors type system, and this one works the same way. You can inflict emotions on either your party members or on the foe in a battle, and each emotion, there's one of 3 different emotions, and there's also the neutral emotion, where you have none. Each one has its own cons, its own pros, and is weak to one of the others and strong against one of the others. So, briefly, happy makes your crit rate go up and your hit rate go up. Your hit rate go down. Crit rate up, hit rate down, and is strong against angry. When you're angry, your attack is high and your defense is low, which is strong against sad, when your defense is high and your offense is low, which is strong.
Okay, so you got some sort of like rock, paper, scissors thing going on.
Basically. And it is nuts. Enemies in the game can change their emotion at a moment's notice, and so can you. You have different skills and different items that can inflict these emotions on your party members. You can also use skills to remove emotion from party members or from NPCs and enemy characters, because most of these battles are pretty simple, I'll be honest. You go through the overworld and you can just kind of mash through some of them, but a lot of them are also very strategic. Enemies will all of a sudden become angry out of nowhere, and when you're angry, your offense is higher, so they just start smacking the shit out of you, and you have to react to that. So do you waste turns trying to guard against angry by making yourself sad? Or do you go with the offensive route and make your party happy to smack out the angry? Or would that waste too much time, so you just want to kill the enemy as fast as possible and forget the emotions? You can play this game a lot of different ways. It's very interesting. Yeah. I wish I could talk more about the story, but there's just
I know.
too
I was
much
going to ask,
spoil.
and then I feel like maybe I don't want to know.
The only thing that I guess I could say is that the reason why the main character, whose name in the dream world is Omori, the reason why he's a shut-in is explained early-ish enough in the game, but I still won't spoil it. But there is a reason for the reclusiveness. And as you get further and further in the game, it gives you details and information through storytelling. The game doesn't just tell you, hey, this is what happened. All of the characters talk about it like they were real people. The way that you and I would glean somebody's information by listening to something that they may have talked about in the past. We don't have to ask them, and they won't tell us, but by listening to the way that they talk to other people, we can glean what has happened to them in their lives. And that's the way that this game works. It's storytelling through narrative. No telling, all showing. It's fucking awesome. And
what platform did you play it on?
I played it on PC because that's the only platform it's currently available for. Well,
Okay.
unless you count Mac, but
Yeah.
computer. It does come to Switch in a month. Limited Run is releasing a physical copy, I believe.
Oh, right on.
And
Okay.
it's also coming to PS4, Xbox One, and I think even PS5 and Series X. But those are delayed. They'll come after the Switch port.
Okay. How long did it take you to finish it?
25 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's not exorbitant. I feel like for a game like this, a game where like it's so narratively driven, especially for a JRPG, like it's got to be, it can't be one of those like 70-hour grinds. Like I feel like the length really has to lend itself to the storytelling, and it sounds like it does.
It's an indie game, right? So I never expect like 100 hours plus from an independently produced video game, no matter what kind of game it is and no matter what the story is like. It just isn't in the cards. These independent developers don't have the billions of dollars that other companies do to be able to make a game of that length. And that's okay. Because in just 25 hours, I've had one of the most satisfying RPG experiences of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. That sounds really special.
It's fantastic. I cannot talk enough about it. I'm not always the type of gamer who will get this invested in a game, but since beating it, I already want to go back and do the other routes. There are alternate routes, and I want to get all of the achievements and go for 100% right out the gate. I'm not going to, because I want to play other things, but I was so interested in the rest of the game right after the very first time playing it. I even went on like the Omori fandom to just dupe around and listen to the songs over and over again on YouTube, and I was looking at the character biographies and stuff like that. Stuff I already knew, so I wasn't gaining any new information that I would have missed by not doing any of the alternate routes.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I just got so absorbed into the world of Omori that's how I've been spending most of my day today. I finished it last night. It's been kind of cool.
Wow.
The game also has a killer soundtrack, so even if you don't play the game, I recommend looking up the soundtrack. But don't scroll down to the comments. Do yourself a favor.
Sometimes I worry about the even like listening to soundtracks, because like sometimes like the track titles are a little spoilery.
Oh no, none of the track titles are spoilery. I I went through the entire soundtrack today, adding them to my music queue to put on my phone. None of the soundtrack titles are spoilery. They might have like a character's name in them, but that's not really spoilery.
Right.
So.
Oh, so cool. I want to try that out.
Oh yeah. What about you though? You said you've been playing a game that you feel similarly about.
All right. So buckle up for this one, Matthew.
All right. I'm already wearing my seatbelt, don't worry.
Oh, thank God. Safety first, right?
Yeah, always.
So something that's has been on my radar for like 5 years, probably at this point, I guess similar to yours, is this game that's been made. It was made by this Canadian developer. I think his name's Andrew Sholdis, and it's his first game. He was previously working for a Canadian iOS game studio and decided to quit and work on this project full time. So it was kind of like a solo endeavor.
Right.
But somehow along the way, he caught the attention of Adam Saltzman at Finji, the publisher, who did Cannibalt, like one of the like first great iOS games.
Oh yeah.
And then, but like recently, he published Overland and Chicory, and I know Chicory made like a lot of big news last year. A lot of people, that was like a really big important game for them last year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in comes Andrew Sholdis with this new game, Tunic. And are you laughing at my?
I am. We always do this. I love this. Where we don't want to spoil what we want to talk about, so you'll write some bullshit in the show notes. So yeah, Tunic, Mr. Cage and Mr. Cage again.
Yeah, Tunic.
Continue.
So Tunic. There's a lot, like so much that I want to say about this game, and
Yeah.
I think like we said before, like I'll say a few things, but I really do think that this is something that a player should go into as blind as possible, like literally as like
Oh yeah,
don't watch a
as
trailer.
blind as you can be.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you have even like an ounce of interest in Tunic, like I think you owe it to yourself to stop listening and go play Tunic, knowing as little about the game as possible.
Yeah.
I should also preface, I haven't fully finished the game yet. I put maybe, I want to say like maybe 10, 12 hours in. And I'm
Okay.
taking it very slowly. Like
Wow, Tyler, this
more,
is your Omori. This it's like
yeah.
exactly what I did. I beat the game in 25 hours, and that 25 hours took me like 3 weeks to do.
I'm going purposely quite slowly on it. Well, somewhat purposefully. So I expect to finish it soon, and then I think I'll go back and like kind of redo some of it. But it's on Game Pass. I'm playing it on Xbox One. I think somebody at Microsoft kind of knew that this was going to be like something that they'd want to have on there really early on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So kudos to whoever that was. I think it's on Steam as well, or it's on PC and Mac as well. I don't know if it's on Steam, but it's PC and Mac, and then Game Pass.
Okay.
But it's a timed exclusive on Game Pass, so I think it'll come out on other platforms. I'm sure at some point in the future. All right, so I'll try to give kind of the bare minimum of description. Tunic is a game where you play as a fox dressed as Link, like Link from
Okay.
Zelda.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is. Like it's on the cover art. Like you look at the
Okay.
cover art of the game, like that's what it's a fox dressed as Link.
Wow, it's Fox. Like,
It's
I love this game already, Mom.
it's heavily influenced by Zelda, like Zelda One. And it's not like shy about that. It's like quite open, and I think in some interviews, the developer never says like, "Oh yeah, like it's a kind of a Zelda game." He says like, I found inspiration from the triangle collecting games or something like that. So like he's kind of like
What a way to say that.
he's kind of sly about it, but it's like
Of
very
course.
obviously like you know. It's presented in an isometric style, so it's kind of like similar to Bastion or Transistor if you played those. And it's just kind of like like Link's Awakening. Like you wake up on a beach with nothing, and you just sort of go in.
Right.
And I guess like one of the defining features of this game, and I swear to God, stop fucking listening if you want to go play this game because you really should go in blind at this point. So you've been warned. Turn back now. But one of the defining things of this game is that there's no traditional tutorial, and that's not innovative in itself at all. But along the way, you start to acquire pages of the game's manual, and
What? That's cool.
we're talking like the manual that like would have come in the box had
Yeah.
this game come out in 1985 in Japan.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
the pages that you pick up, they're heavily inspired by like the Famicom manual for Zelda 1.
Yeah.
Except instead of Japanese, it uses like an in-game foreign language,
Uh huh.
right? So like there's some like English words scattered throughout, like just like the Zelda manual does. Like there's some English words scattered throughout,
Right.
but the majority of it is in this like foreign in-game language. And you pick up these pages in a random order, so you don't get page one first. So like the first page you get, you might be like I don't know, page 20 or something, and it might be like half of a map for a section of the game that you haven't even got to yet, for an area that you haven't got to yet. But when you turn the page, you also got page like 21, which is another half of a section of some foreign language instructions on how you might manage your health. So it's kind of giving you some insight, right? And
Right.
it might also have a big chunk of text about something later in the game. And then when you do get to that point in the game, you think, oh shit, like, wait, I've seen this before. It's in that manual. And so you can open it and refer back to that page that you found earlier. But you don't get all the info because it's not all in English, right? Like it's in this other language. So you kind of get like little chunks and bits and pieces. So you have to kind of interpret it as you go.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's incredible. The setting itself is kind of like it's kind of like a Breath of the Wild style, like lost overgrown land kind of deal. There's some kind of ancient machinery that activates and that kind of thing. So again, very Zelda inspired. It's very cinematic and atmospheric throughout. It reminds me a lot like if they almost made Breath of the Wild in a Zelda 1 format
Yeah.
in terms of tone. So you solve puzzles and you fight enemies along the way, of like discovering the secrets of the land. A lot of people have talked about the combat in terms of like they think about like it's like a Dark Souls kind of game, like a
Hmm.
Souls game. I don't know if I agree. I don't think that's really the case, except for that the combat is a bit more involved than a traditional top-down Zelda game in that it has you rolling and dodging. So you kind of have to be a bit more strategic about your fights. But I don't know if it goes to the level of Dark Souls where it's so like brutally does not care about you. And
I think it's just a popular thing to do today is just say like this game is the Dark Souls of X.
Exactly, yeah, it's not. It's not. Dark Souls like brutally does not care about you, and that you like in Dark Souls you have to like absolutely nail the timing of your dodging to like win combat.
Yeah.
This doesn't really go to that level. The game doesn't like hold your hand for combat, but it feels a lot more natural.
Hmm.
Anyway, so that's the kind of foundation for Tunic. That's the kind of core gameplay of Tunic. It has been a long, long time since something has made me feel the way that Tunic makes me feel. And I mean that I honestly think it hasn't been like since I was a kid that I felt
Wow.
some of the emotions that I feel when I play Tunic. I
Wow.
don't know
For
if you've
you and me
ever
both, this is like the feelings episode,
Matthew,
man.
I dude, I don't know if you've ever felt like a connection with something, like maybe a game or a movie or a book or whatever, that truly felt that it was like made for you. Like this game was made with you in mind. They knew you were going to play it and it was designed for you. Tunic is something that
I don't
like
know.
even just like 5 minutes in, I knew, like I immediately knew that I was like, it was going to be an experience that I connected like so deeply with.
Yeah.
That it seems to have like this, I don't know, this like sixth sense where it always seems to know how I'm feeling and what I want and where I want to go and what I want to do. And it's the first time that I can feel like I really like trust a game, in that there's no jank to it. Like after playing for several hours, like 10, 15 hours, I'm at a point where I know the game isn't going to like jankily throw me in the wrong direction because of poor design, or I'm going to
Yeah.
like die because like of some like weird glitch where I like rolled off a cliff in a dumb way, something like that.
Yeah.
And I always know that I have all the information I need. Like I've been given all the information I need to finish a puzzle, and that I haven't like missed something because of poor game design. Right?
Hmm.
Like I completely trust the game. So I feel like I can really like sit down and let myself just get kind of enveloped into like the ambience of this space that you're in. And I
Right.
like I try like it sounds dumb, but I trust it that like
No,
it's going to
it
guide
doesn't
me in
sound
this like
dumb at all.
like the right direction at every moment. Like this is like peak game design for me. Like this is exactly what I want a game to be, and I really think that this could act as like a compass to give direction on what games should strive to do and what game design should be. I I
That's so cool.
dude, I can't stop thinking about this game. I
That's how I feel about Omori. Like seriously,
it's wild that we both had like the same weird experience on the
the same like
same.
eye-opening gaming
Yeah.
experience in the same week.
Dude, I've been playing like into like the wee hours of the morning. I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about Tunic. Like I'm obsessing about it
What platform are you playing on?
on Xbox One.
Oh yeah, you said it was Game Pass, right?
Yeah, on Game Pass. Yeah.
I'm just a little I'm 30 now, so I can't hear anymore. So
I okay. I don't think I've ever used like words like this to describe video games before, but I don't think that I can properly convey the way I feel about Tunic using any other words. So I'm just gonna say it. Tunic might be perfect. I
wow.
I don't know. I can't personally think of like any faults of it. And maybe others won't connect with it on the level that I have. Like maybe I should say that Tunic might be the perfect game for me. Like it might be perfect for me. It is just a monumental moment in gaming for me. and
Wow.
like I'm struggling to find like other ways to describe how I feel about it.
I can hear the antsiness in your voice. Do you want to make this a short episode so you can go play it?
Dude, I come home from work every day and I'm like, Jesus, I just gotta play that game.
Yeah.
It's so good. The level, it's so refined. It feels so tight. It feels like, any sort of like playtesting issue has been like mulled over and slept on, and so they came back and they refined it and they did it again. Like it feels like they iterated, and it feels just so tight. The story beats are perfectly timed. It does this thing where the camera kind of zooms in and out on its own accord, like depending on where you're moving and depending on what it wants to show you. It'll like highlight a certain landscape or story element as you kind of move throughout, and it just does it by itself to like highlight certain things.
Yeah.
The music is it's by an artist called Lifeform, who did the Dust Force music, and I've actually quite familiar with a couple of his albums that he's done before, and so I was really stoked to hear that he was the one who was doing the music. And I think he's doing it with his partner Janice Kwan, I want to say her name is, and it's like so atmospheric, but it's also feels very modern. Like it doesn't feel like this ancient, like Breath of the Wild, where it's like this really old kind of, like orchestral thing.
Yeah.
This feels almost like chill hip hop beats to relax to kind of deal, but like more atmospheric and more for like an adventure setting. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It feels I I never want to like stop learning about every single secret that's packed into every inch of this game. It's a masterclass in like video game storytelling. It has like all these familiar mechanics that we know from Zelda, but it fills it with like innovative hints, and it clears out any filler, any crust, and it just feels like a completely modern experience.
That's awesome.
Dude, it's so good. I haven't even finished it yet, and I don't want it to end, but I like really want to know what happens. I really want to get to the end of it, and I know like immediately as soon as I'm done with it, like I'll finish it, and I'm just gonna like start it up again like the second it ends, because like I want to go back. And I have heard that like something happens at the end that kind of like changes things, and like once you kind of learn what you learn at the end, like it kind of like invites you to go back and do it again. And I'm like pumped for that to happen. But yeah, like I have nothing bad to say about this game. It's like completely engrossed my life, and yeah, I did not expect it. Like like looking at it's been on my radar for a few years now, so I've seen the screenshots, I've seen like the artwork and that kind of thing. And I never was like, oh, like this game is gonna be like my favorite game ever. But then like I booted it up, and like literally like 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh my god.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
really cool though.
Dude, I could rave for hours. Like I'm taking over like this entire episode, because like I could literally rave for hours and hours about this game.
I will have to give it a shot. I definitely want to. Hearing you this
It's
excited about a game.
so
I mean,
good.
you've been excited about games on the show before, and in real life with me, off the show. But I think this is the most excited I've ever heard you about anything ever. Ever.
Yeah, Lauren was saying like something kind of similar, because like I like like she'd message me, I'd be at work, and she'd be like, how's your day? And I'd be like, I can't stop thinking about Tunic.
Yeah. No, it's
yeah.
straight up. Like I think 1/3 of my entire playtime in Omori was just last night when I beat it. I was just so engrossed in it that I spent the entire night playing.
Yeah.
The way that the story is kind of told, and I'll make this brief so that we can move on because I already talked about Omori. But the way that the story is told is in like, again, it's by narrative, but it's given in snippets in such a way that your reward for playing through certain parts of the game is to learn more about the story. And I kind of like that. It incentivizes your playing through the game, and as you learn more about the story, now all of a sudden you have this drive to learn the next bit, and through playing the game, you get there, and you enjoy yourself along the way. It's this very good mix of like journey and destination, and they're both important. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, dude. I feel like we're really in like kind of this golden age of indie games
Hmm.
where there are so many good indie games that have come out over the past, I don't know, like even like 10 years, where AAA gaming, well, it has its merits. Like there are great AAA games. Like the Kirby came out last month, and like
Yeah.
you and I freaking loved that shit. Like we loved
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
I was raving about that like up and down, but like it, I don't know, the way it makes me feel, like it doesn't hold a candle to Tunic. And considering
Wow.
that this was like one guy with a publisher and a couple people doing some artwork and some composing and that kind of thing, but like majority it's one guy, and he spent like the last 6 7 years of his life pouring his soul into this, and just for it to be like such a success is just like so inspiring to me.
Hell
uh
yeah.
and I don't like I've never seen a AAA like bring that kind of emotion from it. Like and I'm not saying like a game has to like have like a sad storyline or anything like that, because this one that doesn't. I mean, maybe it has, maybe it's coming, I don't know. But like it's not like an overly emotional storyline, right? Like it's Zelda, like you're the lost hero and you're saving the world, and it's that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it just like there's something about it that just gets me like right in the feels,
Yeah.
and no AAA game does that. So I feel like, I don't know. There's something
I.
about indie games where
Mm.
I think it's the when somebody has an idea and they have the drive and the passion and they just know, right? Like when somebody knows that this is, what they need to do, it really shows. It just shines, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about Omori. It definitely has a lot of emotional value to it. Um, like that's why I said I began with "it fucked me up." Like really, by the end of the journey, I was like sobbing like a little baby boy, and they were good tears. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't like sad or anything, but uh, God, I can't remember a time when a AAA game made me cry. Not as far as I know. I mean, I have cried at the end of Mother One, which is not necessarily a very emotional ending to a game, but it was because of who I was with at the time when I was playing it that round,
Mm.
and the circumstances of my life when I reached the end of the game. I was overcome with emotion because of the circumstances surrounding my playing it, not because of the game itself.
Yeah,
So
I wonder if like I don't know. It feels like to me, like I was saying earlier, like it feels like this game was kind of made for me. Like it's exactly what I want in a video game.
yeah,
And I feel like these moments where we like really connect with something, it just feels like these games come out at like such a perfect time in your life.
yeah.
And so I don't know. I can't say for sure. I mean, the game's gotten good reviews. I can't say for sure that anybody's going to kind of connect with it on an emotional level like I have. Like I hope they do. I would love for that to happen, right? But maybe this is just something that's like it's just at a time in my life where like this is exactly what I needed. And
Oh
it
yeah.
sounds like this has kind of been the case for you with Amori and with even with Mother in the past. Like it's just like, the one of the things I love about video games is that they really help us to kind of, I think, highlight what's going on in our lives right now, and either maybe distract us, but maybe kind of like push us forward through
I
these
definitely
moments. And
have
just it
gotten
helps me
strength from
to
video
kind of
games.
emote, in ways that I don't
Yeah.
think I would be able to otherwise.
I'm really glad that that's something that you have experienced too. I was definitely feeling it last night. Like I I was texting one of our patrons. Also happens to me, very close to me. Rachel, what's up? We were texting last night, and I sometimes I can struggle to find the words if I'm like anxious or if I'm in just like a blah mood. But after playing through Omori last night, I was so overcome with emotion that I felt like I could speak more openly. It was weird, and it was all because of this video game I was playing. You know, like I
Yeah.
found more strength of character because of Omori. It was a very surreal experience. I wonder if anybody else has experienced that sort of thing. Leave us a comment and let me know. I'm very interested to. I'm very
Tell
interested to
us about
find
your
that out.
emotions.
This is I'm calling this the feelings episode.
It really is.
But yeah, let's switch feelings over to over to excitement, because Tyler, it looks like we picked up some things in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did. I got some video games for once.
Yeah.
Um,
Would you like to tell me about them, since you don't really
yeah, sure.
collect anymore, do you, Tyler?
I do,
I'm
but it's been
I'm
on
fucking with you. It's
it's
fine.
been
You're
on the back
busy.
burner a little bit, and there's not a good lot of good like spots for it here, right? Like, without me like
Yeah.
paying an arm and a leg, and the market is like through the roof, so it's like it's expensive. I
Yeah.
did buy a couple things. I went to Goodwill and I found some stuff. The Goodwill is just like PS3 and Xbox 360 stuff pretty much now for
Yeah.
me.
Here
Like
too.
it's hard to find anything else. So I'm kind of trying to like capitalize that on what I can. I got a Ratchet and Clank. What's that one called? The future one. Ratchet and Clank
What
Future
is it?
something or other.
Future. Oh God, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the title. It's like it's two words, like future
enter
something,
the
right?
breach void something. I don't know. Anyway, I picked that up, and
I can't fucking remember the title.
I don't know all the Ratchet and Clank. Fine, I'll look it up. The Ratchet and Clank
There's like Up
series.
Your Arsenal, Going Commando, Secret Agent Clank.
Tools of Destruction. Tools of Destruction is the name of the game.
It's Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction.
Yeah, Future colon.
That's yeah.
Uh,
Dude, my future colon is not looking good.
I also I also picked up Turok on PS3,
Okay.
which I didn't even know existed. I just like saw it and I was like, oh, they made a Turok game on PS3.
Yeah.
All right, and it was like $4 or something, so I picked
Of
that up.
course.
Um, and then I also picked up the good old Shoppers Drug Mart, good old Schnoppers Tug Cart. They got me on one of them deals. Get some
Oh yeah.
points, buy some games, get some points.
What'd you get?
And so I got a pretty good deal on our Pokemon Legends Arceus,
Oh, thank
and
goodness.
yeah, and the new Mario Party Superstars. I guess it's not new. I can't say new, but Mario Party Superstars.
It's the newest one.
Did you play that?
Yes. I had Joe and Josh over a little while ago, and the three of us played it with Jackie, and Joe wiped the fucking floor with us as always.
It's really good. They have fixed like a lot of issues with Mario Party. This is the first Mario Party. Like Super Mario Party, I thought was good. Um, this I feel like they like were like okay, like it's been like 12 games. Like you guys, what do you like actually want? And they like went online and they were like, what are people like complaining about? What do they like really like about Mario Party? And they were like, oh, they like the original ones. And oh, they hate it when turns take too long. Oh. And like
Yeah.
here are some of their favorite mini games. Oh. And so it's like it feels like they just like bottled that all up and like put a game out of
That's like
it.
straight up what they did. They took everything that we loved about the original era of Mario Party, gave it a fresh coat of paint and some fresh new mechanics, and just plopped it into a single game. It feels like a modern Mario Party, but it feels like a classic Mario Party. It's it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. See, there's this trend of people like getting rid of the crust of their games and really modernizing them, and it's like doing wonders for my mental health.
Yeah, because
They,
I really liked Super Mario Party. I really did. I thought it was
yeah,
a
it's good.
wonderful return to form, and because nobody fucking liked 9, and less than nobody liked 10.
They got the
So
car. They drove that car right out of
right
there.
off the fucking cliff. And when Super Mario Party came out, I was so stoked about it that I made it my first Game Cola review. I was really happy about it. But it still felt like it was kind of different. It was Mario Party, and it was classic Mario Party, but it was still a little bit too different to feel real, if that makes sense. And now Superstars has come out, and that is exactly what I was looking for in Super.
Yeah,
Absolutely, 100%.
yeah. I mean, I have played maybe 2 or 3 rounds of this of Superstars, and like absolutely for sure. Like the next time, like I'm in a situation where it's like, hey, do you guys want to play Mario Party? Like that is the one that we are going to play, and I think it's going to be that way for a while. Like I can't think of any, like, I don't know, maybe if I play this one like 40 times, which I don't think is ever going to happen, like, I can't see a reason why I would play any of the other ones now.
Yeah, the way that I'll do it with my group of friends is since this is the newest one, the next couple of times that we'll play this one, and then eventually we'll be like, all right, we've played enough Superstars over the past couple of times. Let's roll.
Let's bust out the
you know.
the Game Boy Advance one.
Yeah. Well, no. Let's bust out Mario Party E for the e-reader.
Y'all are a big Mario Party group. You guys play a lot of Mario Party.
We do. I don't have the guys over very often because I live the furthest away. It makes more sense to all convene at someone else's house, but I'm the one who has all the fucking Mario parties, so we kind of have to come here.
You're or else you're schlepping your N64 and your GameCube and your Wii U and your Game Boy Advance and your 3DS.
Yeah,
and
so
all your cartridges.
Instead, we'll pick a day far out enough in advance that I know the guys can make it. They'll come here, and if we can't decide which one to play, then I'll just have like Alexa do some stuff about it, like have her choose a random number.
I don't have an answer for that.
Alexa, I'll have her choose a random number, or I'll just ask the guys for a vote, and if two people say the same one, then I'm like, well, that's the one.
Damn, dude, you've got this down to a science.
Yeah, the only ones we haven't played are 4 and 8. Eventually.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all I got for pickups. I will say that I also played some Tony Hawk Underground 2.
Wow, roses are red, violets are blue.
I played some Underground 2.
Yeah. Roses are red, sugar is sweet. Let me know when you finally play Underground 3.
I just want to say very quickly, like, I don't know how we started playing that game. It just, the came off the shelf and into the Xbox it went. And as it happens. Man, those games are wild. They're so fast. Like, everything in that game is so fucking fast. And I don't understand, like, maybe I'm getting old. I mean, I am getting old.
This is literally, we talked about this in, like, episode 2. Do you remember? Where I was talking about Sonic Heroes.
That was a year ago.
Yeah, I was talking about Sonic Heroes, and I was like, when I was a kid, it was so fucking fast. And now I'm an adult, and I'm like, how the fuck can I possibly pay attention? This is wicked lightning speed.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt about
that.
this.
Maybe it was the other way around. I can't remember, but it was definitely something with speed and age.
I don't know, dude. As a kid, I do not remember it being this fast. But like everything happens, like, oh my god, there's like all these challenges you get. It's like, okay, go do a kickflip over this shit, and your board's on fire or whatever. And then like you try to go and like jump over the flaming barrel to light your damn skateboard on fire, but you're going like 1,000,000 miles an hour. And so like every time you try to like turn around, like you're halfway across the map by the time you get your bearings. It's fucked up. I don't understand how people enjoy those games. It does not hold up. Man, I couldn't believe how much that does not hold up. Anyway. Tony Hawk Underground 2.
You heard it here first, folks. I had some pretty decent pickups. I'll start with the shittier story, and by shittier, it's not really a bad story. It's just the worst of the two. This is a really weird series of words that I'm about to say, but you'll understand why I can't shorten it when I say it. My cousin Lee's husband's sister. She messaged me on Facebook. Oh no, actually, I think she got my phone number from like my cousin Tony or something. Yeah, she texted me personally, and she was like, "Hey, I have some."
New York Matt's got a cousin Tony.
So shout out to my family member. What would I call her? I don't even know. Pam.
Your cousin's sister-in-law.
Yeah, I guess so. Sure.
Pam.
My cousin,
that's what you
my
call
cousin's sister-in-law, my cousin-in-law, for somehow. Pam. She messaged me and she was like, "Hey, listen, I have a bunch of like Wii games that we're not using because we don't have a Wii anymore. We sold the Wii, but we still have all the games and all of the controllers."
Wait, hold on. They sold the Wii, but they kept all the controllers and games?
I didn't ask for the specifics, but I thought it was strange too. Okay. And she sent me a photo of all of the games, and it was mostly shovelware. But a couple were pretty good titles, but they were all titles that I already had. The shovelware, on the other hand, Well,
Oh no.
like, about like half of it I still needed. So I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I want to offer you a fair price, but I'll be honest, I have a lot of these already. However, I still need about half of them, so I'm going to look up some prices and I'll get back to you based on what I need versus what I'm going to get rid of. And she was like, okay, no problem. I just want to offload them all at the same time, so I'd rather you buy them all. And I was like, I will, don't worry. And I looked it up.
How's
and
30
like,
bucks sound?
I said 35, and she was like, you know what? I don't care. I really don't care. I would have given them to you, but I figured I would ask just to see if we could recoup any costs. And I was like,
She was
I
like,
appreciate
"Oh,
that.
I was worried that there was a really rare game in there, and I didn't want to like actually like
I
lose
don't
out,
even
so-
know if she is familiar with the concept of a rare video game. I don't know if she's in my rabbit hole that deeply.
Dang, Pam been living under a rock or what?
But yeah, so I drove to her place and I got the games, and it came with 4 Wii remotes and 4 nunchucks and a couple of wrist straps and Wii remote condoms and
And a
You
hug
know-
from your Aunt Pam.
from lawyer Pam, my attorney Pam.
cousin at law Pam.
Yeah, from my bodega owner-in-law Pam. She so of the games that I actually kept that I gave a shit about, I got Disney Think Fast, which you might think is not worth the words that I just said about it, but it's actually a pretty fun Disney trivia game. So nothing there. I got Samurai Warriors Katana.
Watch
That's a
out,
pretty
Mario
good game.
Party night. Mario
Yeah, right.
Party has been moved to the side. Disney Think Fast's coming.
Yeah, got Yogi Bear on Wii. That one's okay. And
Man,
yeah,
when you said
that's-
shovelware, you really meant it.
okay. So like most of the games were like Just Dance, Barbie XYZ, Just Dance again, High School Musical. I almost said Kingdom Hearts. There's no Kingdom Hearts on the Wii. High School Musical 1, 2, and 17. Disney Party, Disney Just Dance, High School Musical, Sing It. Oh, I got Link's crossbow training. I didn't have that fucking somehow, but I got that finally.
You didn't have Link's crossbow training?
I didn't know. I never.
Did
never
you have?
had it.
Did you have the thingy? The
I have the zapper. Yeah, I've had the zapper for a long time.
Why the
but
fuck?
I never-
The,
I got because I got the zapper secondhand.
No, I'm sorry. The fact that the thing was called a zapper, and I get that it's a reference
piece
to
of
the
fucking
NES
plastic.
zapper. I get it. But the fact that the thing is called a zapper, and the game it came with, and pretty much the only game it's like even useful for, is
Well-
a crossbow game.
You can use it with one other game that I know it's
I
useful
mean,
for
I
is
know.
like Quantum of Solace, but whatever.
I know, but it was Link's crossbow training the plastic.
Yeah. So I spent $35 on this slot, and then I turned around and I sold everything that I didn't need to VGTP, where I received $90 in store credit, and I also sold the copy of Wii Party from that lot, since I already had it, to Max. It goes for $40, but I'm a buddy, so I did it for $20. So I made back plenty of money on this, and I used the $90 to buy Spider-Man for N64, which I still needed, because fuck it, it's a red cartridge and I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I got Blaster Master 2 for Genesis, which is a rare boy. So
Ooh.
so I made out pretty good there. But that does not compare to the pickup that I received thanks to Jackie. Our anniversary passed. We've been together 3 years as of the 29th of April.
Oh, congratulations!
I know, thank you. And Jackie bought me a rare game that came into Blast from the Past. Rich, the owner, a friend of mine, posted on Facebook that it had come in, so I immediately was like, that's the one I want, get that. And she's like, yeah, sure. I got Sword Quest Waterworld for Atari 2600.
Wow, I am not an Atari guy, so that means nothing to me.
Yeah. All right. So, brief history lesson. I've told
But
this
I'm
story
happy
to
for
so
you.
many people. Thank you. I've told the story to so many people over the last 2 weeks. I'm just going to say it again. In the early 80s, Atari sponsored a contest called the Sword Quest Contest. They were going to make 4 games, one for each of the traditional
Oh
elements
yes,
of
I
the Earth.
do know this. Yes.
Yeah. So this is for our uninitiated now, I suppose. So there was Sword Quest.
I've
Earthworld,
now been reinitiated.
Sword Quest Fireworld, Sword Quest Waterworld, and Sword Quest Airworld. You play the games; they come out one at a time. You play one, you have to collect clues, send them to Atari, and then anyone who got enough clues got to come together for a secondary contest where they won one of 4 actual fucking prizes worth $25,000. And the 4 prizes, in no particular order, were a Philosopher's Stone made out of gold and white jade, a chalice made out of silver, platinum, and gold, a tablet of the birthstones made out of gold, and a crown made out of gold. And all of these were also encrusted with specific diamonds and rubies, like stuff like that. Diamonds, rubies, sapphires, aquamarines, emeralds, etc. And then the 4 winners of those contests would come together for a final showdown, and the winner of those 4 would receive a silver sword with a gold hilt valued at $50,000. So this entire contest was $150,000 worth of prizes, and because of the video game crash of 1983, it abruptly ended halfway through the Waterworld portion, which was the 3rd game in the series. So Earthworld came out, that contest happened, then Fireworld came out, and that contest happened, but Waterworld came out in extremely limited quantities because Atari was hemorrhaging money during the crash, and then the contest never happened for Waterworld. Airworld never came out, and the other 2 prizes and the sword were never given out to anybody. Atari got sold off to Warner Communications to recoup costs during the crash, who still kept it branded as Atari and still made video games well into the 90s with the Jaguar and everything. But the new owner, Jack Tramiel, it's an urban legend that people saw the sword and the remaining 2 items from the contest hanging in his living room after the purchase. But I got Waterworld, which is one of the rarest Atari 2600 games. The first 2 games, Earthworld and Fireworld, common as shit. Everybody had those because Atari was in full swing during that time, but Waterworld was released in a limited quantity and the contest never ended, so it's a nice little piece of history and I'm very happy to have it. Thanks, honey! You're welcome! Yeah. But that's it, yeah.
Right on, dude. I'm happy for you. Now you gotta go get that sword.
Yeah, I have to go to Jack Tramel's house and... Wait, is he dead? I have to go to Jack Tramel's widow's house.
Maybe
Wait,
he was buried
dead?
with it.
Oh, no. But, yeah, that's such a good find. I've been looking for that since I first became a collector. It's like 12, 13 years in the making now. I've been a collector 14 years, but I first learned about that about 12 years ago or so. And so to finally get this game that I've been coveting for this long, removing it from my wish list on Google Sheets, such a fucking blessing. It felt so good, dude.
Yeah, I bet. Something like that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
before we end off, I just want to give a shout out to my friend Justin, who literally just now texted me a picture of Guile from Street Fighter as a very flamboyant hipster.
And that'll do it for this show.
I don't know if this is canon or not. I said, "Is this real?" He said, "I hope so."
Well, thank you, Justin. I'm really glad that this just in, Guile, and that'll do it for this show. Guys, thank you for sticking with us for 1 whole year. We really appreciate it, don't we, Tyler?
We certainly do.
Yeah. Here's to another year, and hopefully another one after that, until one of us dies or something. It'd probably be me. I'll tumble down a hill in my old age. To learn more about Super FX, you can visit our website, superfxpodcast.com, and you can find our show wherever you find your other favorite podcasts, including Google, Apple, and Spotify. Follow us on social media, guys. We're on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. You can find us on all of those at SuperFX Podcast. Reach out with any comments or questions on social media, and you can also send us an email if you like. That's hi at superfxpodcast.com. hi at superfxpodcast.com. If you like what we're doing and you want to support the show, man, thanks, yo. Please consider doing what Rachel Johnson is doing and become a patron. Patreon.com/superfxpodcast. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe, leave us them sweet comments. I want to know about your feelings about Omori. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a rate and give us a review. It really helps us out. Special thanks, as always, to Kenny Martin, You Demand Now Dog, He did our theme song. You can find him at Kenma. It's KENMA.bandcamp.com. Special thanks to you for always listening to the way I spin this end slate. And thanks for listening to the show. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.